Batman No Man's Land. Honestly, I'm surprised I haven't reviewed this sooner. I guess the reason was when I first bought these, and I first was gonna do a review on them. Blow himself up, dude. Did a review on them. As soon as I bought them, I'm like, dude. And he said basically all I wanted to say on it. I'm like, well, there's no point now. And so I just forgot about it. But I think it's time that I took a look at Batman No Man's Land. For those who don't know, Batman's No Man's Land was a series when Gotham City had a massive earthquake. So massive, it left the city crippled and basically dead. Everyone was immediately ordered out of the city. And though there were some that were not able to leave. Then Gotham City was declared no man's land and not even part of the United States anymore. What's really interesting about this is the way the city worked. You see, all the inmates of Arkham were set free when the earthquake happened and Gotham City was declared no man's land. And because of this, the city has been divided. Oracle is basically our guide, telling us which colors represent which gangster or which force. The blue represents Gotham PD. And I won't get into the others, but they have a lot of different things. And what I like about this, it shows how mankind is now being brought back to basics, the basic modes of survival. Like, in this place, a guy trades a diamond apple. It's because you don't need things like that in the world, in the world of No Man's Land. It's just the way things work. People make. And also the way things work is you get tribute. You have to pay tribute to those whose protection you are under. For example, those under Scarface's protection have to give him something to be under his protection. People, you can tell whose territory is whose by the spray paint tagging on the wall. The taggings on the wall tell which territory you're in. When you take over a territory, you spray paint over their mark. You know, the story is basically so interesting, you could almost do it without Batman. But the fact that he's there gives it a huge boost. Heck, the first issue is basically Batman figuring out how the city works. And Commissioner Gordon trying to win back his city. Commissioner Gordon is actually pretty mad at Batman for leaving. Batman left for 3 months, and then he comes back, and so he feels abandoned by him. The first issue just deals with the first volume just deals basically with Batman getting attuned to the city, and also taking down Scarface. One of my favorite scenes is when Batman's walking away and saying, you know, this territory is Scarface is finished. You know, this is Batman's territory now. And that guy shoots, and he gets back up because, of course, his entire thing is bulletproof. It shows a lot of how he has to, you know, back in the day, criminals used to be so afraid of him, right? But now in No Man's Land, people have become harder. They can't afford to be afraid anymore, and he has to reteach criminals fear. And he has to do that by making them superstitious once again. So, the way this city works is crazy, but really interesting. There's also a really good Huntress and Scarecrow story. The way Scarecrow looks at this city, how everyone's afraid of everything, and how he feels it, and it's just really nice, and how he tries to twist people's minds and get them to fight and do whatever. It's really interesting. I also love how Batman messes with the Penguin. He kind of just toys with him, really. But the second volume, I have a couple of beefs with it. The first thing I kind of have a problem with is the artwork. I mean, if you look at this scene in volume 1, it looks really interesting and really, like this place is destitute. The second volume looks a little more toony, but that's just one part of it. Eventually it goes back to a more darker. One of the things that I also like is that Lockup is in charge of Blackgate prison. And whenever Batman needs a criminal to be taken care of, he takes him to Lockup, and he has to allow Lockup to do his thing. And I don't know. I wish they showed more about more of Lockup, because what he does is it's really I don't know. I just really like how he handles things. And I mean, there's a bunch of people outside the prison that want in because they think it's the only safe place in. Lockup says, only criminals come in. So then the guy starts beating up on a guy saying, fine, I'll be a criminal. Lockup has him shot in the leg and the arm. He's like, anyone else want to come in? I don't know. But there are also a lot of other more interesting things in here. Like the fact there's a scene where Batman meets up with these two women that want to keep this baby that they found, and Batman's like tries to put the wisdom of Solomon on it, and say, I'll cut the baby in half, and they're like, well, you can't do that, you'd be murdering. He's like, well, Solomon's wisdom doesn't really work here. So the way, and then the guy tries to pretend that he killed someone just so he can go to Blackgate and be protected from. And the reason this is interesting, because Batman is like, he really has to change his way of thinking. And if this was normal Gotham City, he could just say, oh, you're not going to jail, just get out of here, punk. Or, hey, I'm taking this baby to this orphanage. Whatever. But this isn't normal Gotham City, so he helps the guy out, doesn't take him to the prison, but he helps and he gives the baby back to the two women and says, you have to both take care of him, or else. Halfway through the second volume, we go see this little story of Renee Montoya about the art about this part. It looks too cartoony, like in a little Archie comic or something. However, the story that she has when she meets up with Two-Face is a pretty good one. I won't go into too much detail, but I don't know. I think it's nice. So, at the end of Volume 2, Batman's territory is really expanded a lot, and he's taken down a lot of the criminals. But then the worst happens. Two-Face makes his move. He has to ally himself with Penguin, and then he tips off Jim Gordon that Penguin's going to be attacking Batman's territory. He also sets up a way that Batman would be taken out for that period of time. Then he makes his move. While Jim Gordon takes out Penguin's territory, Harvey Dent takes Batman's. I don't know if he takes it all or just a little part of it. But it ends with Batman finally getting free from the woman. Well, she lets him go because she just was forced to stall him. And I don't want to... I almost don't want to show the picture because it's a really... it's a cool scene. Then I have Volume 3. I won't go into too much detail of Volume 3, but it basically focuses on 3 basic things. Wait, no, 4 basic things. Superman comes to help and then realizes that he can't. Batman meets up with Cassandra Cain, who will later on in this issue become Batgirl. It also goes into a quick story with Poison Ivy and Clayface. Batman also realizes he can't really protect the city on his own and gets his allies to all come over and help him. Now, I've read Volume 4, but I don't own it, so I can't really do a really good review on it without rereading it again. But I gotta say, these No Man's Lands book are really great. I mean, I really want to see read the whole thing. I mean, it's just so interesting and so like the way the city. Anyway, I recommend Batman's No Man's Land to everyone because if you're a Batman fan, this is definitely something that I would check out because it's just so good. Okay, remember, I'm Lazy99. If I don't like it, it's not worth it. Till next time, pick it up. Bring it away from the